Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Hey folks, Dave in the AM here with the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. For many weeks now, me and Rob have been telling you about our affiliation with Dubby Energy Drinks. I've been drinking some of them on the show, and I just got in today the powder version, and this is the Pond Blom version of this. And hey, I tell you that it gives you the focus and the energy without the jitters or the crash. There's no sugars, no fillers, no artificial dyes. So get you some Dubby today. Use the promo code Southern Fried, and you'll get 10% off each and every order. Not only can you get the energy drinks, but you can also get some cool merch items. In fact, soon we're going to have a hat to show you as an example of some of those things. There's shirts and other things you can get as well as containers to mix up the powder and the water into that you can carry with you. We appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and also of Dubby Energy Drinks. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Okay, here we go. Super Bowl day. Who you got today for the game? Been waiting all year to see who would be the champion. Won't have to wait much longer. The game is soon to get going, and we'll see what happens. Wanted to just chit-chat for a little bit, break down the game a little bit. I like both teams. I am a longtime Falcons fan, suffering Falcons fan, as many of you have watched the show know this. I'm loyal to my team, but I have always liked Kansas City. I'm not a Johnny-come-lately or bandwagon person. I've liked Kansas City since back in the days of Derek Thomas and Christian Okoye and other players that have came along. I've always liked them. And I've liked Philly, even though that's hard in the NFC. I would never root for them over the Falcons, but I have liked them all the way back to players like Randall Cunningham and others that have came along through the years, especially their defensive players. I've always had a great admiration for their defense, and this year is no different. It adds a special element of appreciation for me because they do have some of the dog players on defense. There will be three that will play prominently. And maybe four. There was a fifth who was hurt. Nakobe Dean, who was really coming along in the middle linebacker spot, and they may have a special name for it. I don't remember, but that's basically what was playing. He injured his knee, is out for the season. That's unfortunate. Their backup is more than capable. On the defensive front, Jordan Davis and Carter, are disruptors, especially Carter. He may be the best defensive down lineman in the league, maybe. That Garrett may still have that. There's one more, maybe, but he is very young and a force to be reckoned with. And then Nolan Smith, who has really begun to come on as well, especially in pass rush situations. All these players are full out players. They go a lot. I mean, they really play the game as it's supposed to be. From what I've seen, they did at Georgia, and they prepared them well for the NFL. Also, cornerback Keely Ringo has been getting in the game lately, although he is not. They've had some injuries, the Eagles have, and so he will get some time in. I don't know that he's quite ready for that as in a full-time way, but certainly in spot situations when you go the extra defensive back, Keely Ringo could help. He was a very good player at Georgia. He's still, learning the pro game, but they have been putting him in there, and they've had to. I mean, they've had injuries along the front and on the backside and in the middle of that defense. So let's talk about it. What's, you can post in here who you have, who do you like in the game, and why do you like them? You can say, I hate Kansas City because of Mahomes. That's fine. You got to respect his talent, no matter what you think the game calls are. We're going to look at both sides. Like I said, I like both teams. It's really, for me, it's either team that wins. I wouldn't be upset with it because I like both teams. These teams met before, actually, 2 years ago. It was a very close game. I thought the Eagles were going to win that game. But Kansas City has that opportunity now to be a three-peat. And Kansas City has there's a couple of X factors in this game. And really maybe three that we can think of, and we might throw a fourth in there. For Kansas City, Andy Reid, although he doesn't play, is to me a genius. I mean, he is absolutely a genius on the offensive side of the ball, and he has navigated all of the changes that have occurred in that offense. They've had times where that offensive line wasn't the best. Mahomes is able to move just enough to get free. He's always keeping his eyes downfield. He'll get you the 4 or 5 yards and they keep the ball moving. And remember, early on, their offense was very deep passes, really lighten it up. Scoring is down some, but they eat up a lot of clock, and so do the Eagles, or can. And Eagles can also strike fast. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Andy Reid is a genius at finding a weakness and a wrinkle, and also developing new plays. In a game like this, everybody's critiqued every bit of tape. Andy Reid's the kind of guy that will have a play or two. Not that the Eagles won't, they will. But Andy Reid is just a master at that. Of course, Mahomes is an X factor. How can he not be? The guy slips out of certain sacks. He'll look horrible in a couple of series, and the next thing you know, they're in the end zone. And then, of course, although they have a lot of other skilled players, the running game, the two-headed monster, I'll call it there, with Pacheco, who is back from injury. And, of course, they were able to get their previous, running back that got kicked off the team for trouble years ago and spent some time in Cleveland and other places. He's back on the team and playing well. He played in his absence very admirably in his absence. But Travis Kelce, in a game like this, he's just that rise to the top kind of player that whether people like him or not, he lives for this type of game, huge games, and he has shown that. He'll do the dirty work. He will block. He will do whatever he has to do to help the team win. He won't worry about his own stats, and that is an X factor as well. On Philly's offense, Jalen Hurts is a great player. He has had a couple of games this year where he really, and they noted it, where he held on to the ball too long and made some bad decisions, and their offense sputtered. If their offensive own, this is a game that Philly definitely can win, but that's the question mark. I've said the same thing for 2 years about Baltimore. If Baltimore is on in their offense with Lamar Jackson, who is all world, I couldn't believe they're not in this game. I mean, how, it just amazes me with all that talent they can't get there. And, it's just, people anoint people at the beginning of the season, and here we are. But these two teams have shown that they're in it for the long haul. They're built to last. The X factor for Philly is Hurts is one, because his ability to escape the pocket. They'll have to spy him. He's really hard to get a handle on. But Philly's, and of course, A.J. Brown is a freak athlete who can – great hands. He also doesn't worry about stats, and he will break. He will do the dirty work as well. He's that guy for Philly. He will block on the runs. If he didn't catch a pass in this game and they won, he would be just as happy. He's that kind of guy. But I suspect they're going to need him to catch the ball. Certainly, I say that he probably needs to have 8 to 10 catches in this game and be over 100 yards, unless. And the less for me would be if their running game is as cranked up as it has been recently. That's been the big X factor for Philly, is they're just running the ball down people's throats, and they're usually scoring within like 3 plays. That's amazing. Let's look at some of the stats with these offenses and defenses playing how they rank up. For the Eagles, the offensive stats, of course, they have been great, except for those hiccup games. They have been great on offense. They ranked their points per game was 28.4, 6th in the NFL. They are definitely can score and score quickly. Devontae Smith, they've got people in that receiver room that can run all over Kansas City. But Kansas City's got a good defense, but that's a good offense. Yards per game at 367, just slightly over, 7th in the league. Passing yards per game, 180.5, 31st. So they're not been really cranking up the offense. It's been the running game. and that is where they're winning. 186.6, rounded up 187 yards a game. That is second in the league. And amazing. And they're just ripping it up. We'll come back to that. The defensive stats for the Chiefs, their defense doesn't get the credit that it deserves. This is a good defense. At times when I thought they would falter, that defense really bailed out and helped at times Kansas City offense. That's why I say if Kansas City offense is not playing well, and Phillies is, this game is Phillies. I really believe that. I just think even as good as the defense is for the Chiefs, if Philly can score on them, it should be a high-scoring game. It was last time. This game is for KC. That's not a good sign. They need this game to be slowed down just a little bit. And but that's what I would say on that. Points per game allowed for the Chiefs, fourth, 19.4. So they have shown their ability to do that. Yards per game, 327. That's 10th in the league. Passing yards allowed per game, 220, 19th in the league. Not great. They've had some change up back there. They've had some misassignments. There's been a few times this year where I've seen them get lit up, where they got confused and somebody got loose. That is a possibility in this game. Here's a key stat: rushing yards per game allowed, 106.7, 107 we'll call it. That is 9th in the league. Now, this Philly's rushing may is going to eclipse that. I just can't believe that they would keep Philadelphia at 107 yards for the game. I could be wrong. I don't see it. So let's flip it around a little bit. Let's look at the other side of the ball, and we'll talk about the Chiefs' offensive stats. Points per game, 23, just slightly over, 12th in the league. Again, they're doing more grinded out, long drives, eat the clock up. If they're able to have that type of offense, KC wins this game. If they are able to eat the yards and really hold on to the ball and really reduce down the times that Philly has the ball and score. That's a key, and score. They do have a great kicker. They want touchdowns, but they have won games with field goals and a touchdown or two this season. Yards per game, offensively 324, 19th in the league. Again, not in the top though, for yards. So again, it's because of the possessions. They're getting third down, fourth downs. They went for a lot in the last game, and we're getting those. Passing yards per game, 220, we'll say 221, 15th in the league in the rushing yards per game, 103.9. That's 23rd. It's not as good as Philly's, although this is a very capable backfield, very, very capable. Defensively for the Eagles, here's a huge stat, and this is the one that this is really, I think, where if KC is faltering, well, Philly's going to win this game. They have to be able to move on. Points allowed per game, 17, we'll say 18. That's first in the league. So at points allowed per game, the Eagles is first. Yards per game allowed, 289, first in the league. Passing yards per game allowed, not good for KC, 185, we'll say, with the average up. That's second in the league. KC doesn't have that breakaway receivers that they used to. Tyreek Hill's not been there for a while. They have some very capable players. They do have a couple of players that are really coming on. Obviously, we've seen what one of their all-star rookie has done. He is that type of guy. So this is a game where speed could be a difference. Rushing yards per game allowed for the Eagles, 104 let's say 104. That's 8th in the league. So they're very evenly matched in some of this, and in some cases they're really not. So when we look at these stats and we look at these players, both teams have superstars. I mean, you don't get here being also ran. These teams have proven case on the three, which is chasing history in the game, is the pressure of trying to three-peat. That's very hard to do. And if anybody's going to do it, it's this team and Andy Reid. I'll say that. That is the key. Can they handle the moment? They have Kansas City has a better special teams. This is the type of game where special teams will come into play. Butker has made all 9 of his postseason kicks, and he is 2 of 5 from 50-plus yards. Jake Elliott is not that kind of kicker. He is not that kind of kicker anymore. He's gone 15 of 19 in the postseason and is just 1 of 8 from 50 yards plus. So Kansas City, if they're within range and it's 56 yards, I would not be surprised to see Andy Reid go for it. Hence, if Philly's not, they would either try to get the first down or punt it and try to use that defense. That could come into play. It could very well come into play. So we'll see. Both quarterbacks play at a very high caliber. They play with a lot of smarts. They're very accurate. And with Hurts, he has better legs, absolutely, than Mahomes. But Mahomes will fool you with his speed. He really will. Hello, Jake. Thank you so much for that. And I'm doing good today. It's been a good day so far. And I'll be emailing you this week, brother. But yeah, doing great. And I'm glad you're doing well. I hope you're going to watch the game. And I know you stay busy online a lot, but hopefully you can take time to watch the game. This is a fun matchup. This is one of those Super Bowls where I think my belief is you're going to get your money's worth. I think that this one will be tight. The spread has been, even though Philly has the ability to crank it up, the Chiefs have the ability as well. I just think that you're going to see this game is going to be a thriller. I would not be surprised, although I don't think it will. I wouldn't be surprised if it went into overtime because of the ability to Kansas City always, if you leave, let's say, and how many times has this happened? Kansas City gives up a late score, and they have. And how many times has Kansas City drove down the field and won it with a touchdown or a field goal? And Philly has that ability as well. I would not be surprised to see that kind of game. Could one team get up on the other and blow out? I don't think it'd be a blowout, but could a team get up by 10, maybe even 14, possibly? Because you've got some really explosive players in this game, and if there is a breakdown in that Kansas City defense or either one, and remember Philly has replaced a few players in the back end of their defense, it is very possible that they could do that. Yeah, I understand, brother. Hey, you know what? Trying to take a break, mental health. I got it, man. I am so sorry for that. And we will pray for you. Cool, man. Hey, we all think on those things, man. Absolutely. So you got our prayers, brother. It is, and I don't want to slight Nick Sirianni at all. He is a heck of a coach. Andy Reid's like the old master. He's the master Jedi, and Nick's coming along and he's doing things just like an Andy Reid. As I said, these two teams are they remind me of each other in lots of ways, but differently. But they are built the same. What I mean by that is it's an organization from top to bottom and bottom to top that is built to win and win for a while. These people are smart. They have. I got to be honest. When Lurie took over out there, I just didn't think he was going to get it done. But he has been smart enough to stay out of the way, get the right people involved, and they found the golden ticket. There is no doubt. The Hunt family knows what they've got, and their only problem is how long can they convince Andy to keep coaching. They've got the weapons to win for a long time. Kelsey is the only one that's kind of long in the tooth. And not that bad. He could still play a couple, 3 more years if he wanted to. I'll be honest with you, if Kansas City was to win in three-peat, it wouldn't shock me if he retired. I mean, he's very successful. His brother retired the year before with their podcast. He's got movies ahead of him. He's his association on his own and with Taylor Swift makes him a commodity right now. And why do you love the game, but at some point, if you're ready to walk, if you three-peat, that's a great time. You're probably not seeing a fourth, at least not the next year. And I wouldn't be shocked. I honestly wouldn't. I think both players have played well and played long, and it just wouldn't shock me. Can he play a couple, 3 more years? Sure. But he slipped just a little bit. He's not quite the stats are not quite there. He doesn't. I think he probably has lost just a step. He makes up for it in one heck of an ability of making moves. He runs really smart routes, and he knows him and Mahomes are so in tune with each other that they just know where he just knows where he's going to be, and he knows what Mahomes is thinking. He assesses the game really quickly, and his ability to block and to protect and all those things that he does, he could definitely keep doing that for a couple, 3 more years. But he is, we'll say at the peak. I think he was probably mainly at the peak last year. He's probably just slightly less, a little older. It happens, and there were some games where he just wasn't. It just wasn't there. They won in other ways, and that happens with tight ends. But usually he was pretty steady, and I think this has probably been going on for a couple of years where he's. His body is taking a beating, and hey, you know what? He's running around the country and flying all over the place and seeing his girlfriend, and life is life, and you live life, and it just wouldn't shock me. But for this game, he's all in. There's no doubt, and they could win this game. When you look at the start the Eagles had, I mean, they were 2-2 at the start. Some people were questioning that, and they didn't play well at some points during the season. That's the fear with Philly, is that they haven't really done everything that all season long. But when it counted, when it was on the line, I mean, I think 55-23 over the Commanders in the NFC title game, that erased any fear they had that they're ready for this game. And so I don't think there'll be a problem. Of course, for the Chiefs, we'll break down and just look at a few of the players, not every single player, but Mahomes is not throwing at the clip he has before. Their offense is down a little bit. He is 8th this year for the QBR for his position. But there's a lot of problems that they had, though. That's really not his fault. And I would say that. He has at times not been as accurate this year as he has before. There were some plays that you'd see him hitting his head, and he knew he missed wide open players for touchdowns. That's a killer. You can't have that type of play in the Super Bowl. The nerves, both teams will be nervous to start. They always settle in, and how does he do? How does he handle that? He's pretty good at it. I don't think he's bad, and he'll be fine. Jalen Hurts has really not had to really show, because again, they don't throw for a lot of yards. It's been that running game that they have. And again, the push tush, that's another, if it's 1 or 2 yards to go, they'll get it. I mean, there was that game against the Commanders where the dude was flying over the top, and they threatened him with just giving them the score for that, because they kept jumping over the line, and after a certain point, and it's in the rules, you just can't keep putting it close to the goal line. So they finally did get in. That if they need a first down and it's close, they're 99.9% of the time they get it. So he can throw, but he also is deadly with his runs, and he definitely can. Again, the knock on Hurts has been hanging on the ball and taking sacks. That you can't have negative yards, and that would be in Kansas City's favor. And let me say, that front for Kansas City on that defensive line, they don't get the credit. I've said it before. I said it earlier in this podcast. They don't get the credit that they deserve. Yes, they do not get the credit. I appreciate you jamming in on there. Give us some watch time on there. I really got to work on that one. We've been so busy with stuff, brother. Our Twitch, I'm really going to start working that up more as we go. So appreciate you doing that and giving us some time there. We've had a lot of follow. We've had some follows kick in on Kick and Twitch and YouTube. It's been a blessing. But he has. They have had some injuries on the front on that offensive line. With the defensive line, this could be an area that Kansas City could manipulate and win this game as well. If the Eagles struggle on offense, Killer Carl, go Eagles! Yes, I see you, brother. I think this is the Eagles' game. I'm really just trying to show how both teams could win. It's hard to three-peat. I honestly am picking the Eagles to win the game. I think what they learned, they've already been there and lost. They've got the eye of the tiger look to me. They can't look over things, but I think Kansas City, it's going to be a great game, but I really do think the Eagles will pull it out. And I think it's because of the amazing ability of them to get up and down the field. The Eagles have, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You can't go to sleep on them. They also will do the dirty work and block. At times in the defensive backfield, Kansas City and Philadelphia have had some problems due to injury, but they've also had some players that have stepped up and played very well. For Kansas City on the back end, Jalen Watson at cornerback, he's a gamer. He will bring it. Cowboy Cook, I so miss you. You should be here with me, brother. I hope you're feeling better. Cowboys, throw it out there, brother. Hey, I know you maybe next year. That's what I get used to saying, right? The rookie Xavier Worthy, man, could you just see this guy flying down the field? I mean, his speed. I think that Kansas City is going to win. If I think the Eagles are going to win this. Thank you, Jake. If the Eagles are going to win, or if KC's going to win, Xavier Worthy has to touch the ball in multiple ways. He's going to have to do it in the round. He may even run the ball, but he's going to get the short dump and he's going to take it deep. He has to. And I'm telling you, I think that on the defensive front, and I'm looking at some different people that have wrote about the game, and some of them are agreeing with me. He has came on so much, and that's Georgia's Nolan Smith. His motor is great. He's a great young man. He loves the game. He wants to be a coach one day. He's a smart player. He absolutely is a smart player, but he has made a difference of late. Him teaming up with Carter and Jordan Davis on the rundowns, that's again their first. That's a beast. I'm telling you. Kansas City's offensive line is going to have to. I mean, this has to be a game where through runs, which are hard to run on, he's going to have to get the ball out of his hand fairly quickly. I don't know that they can hold up on their blocking to keep Philly out. They've just been ripping people up, and I think that's that's something there that they're really going to have to watch. So it's really hard to pick a team to three-peat. I mean, it's just hard. I think that Philly's ready, and the fans are ready. Earlier in the postseason, I really thought that Kansas City would be they would win this game, but my gut has just told me that they're going to win, and the reason they're going to win is Saquon Barkley. Of all the things I just said, Saquon Barkley is going to be the reason they win this game. This guy he can't be stopped. I mean, let's be honest. He is running through, around, and over people. His balance is incredible. His speed is to burn. And I just don't think in a long game you're going to be able to contain that guy enough to win the game. And I think that is the reason. That's what as I've really looked at this game and looked at this head for 2 weeks, I just felt like that the reason is the Eagles are going to win is because of this guy. If Barkley is injured at any point and he goes out, I would swing the pendulum back to Kansas City. That being said, this game is still close. I think it is close. But I just think that the deciding factor will be him. And the Eagles are going to press the ball. Of course, KC does as well, but the reason the Eagles will is their kicker is not that good. He may have been good before, but he does not have the leg. They're not going to feel comfortable kicking field goals. And unless they just get stuck in no man's land and it's one that's within his range, I think they'll be going for it, unless it's like 4th and 14. They might even go for it at 4th and 14, depending on and they've done that. I think the Eagles win this game. What do y'all say? Y'all say, I think Killer Carl's made his feelings known. Eagles. And, if the Eagles win, look at KC, and I would be happy with a three-peat. That would be fun. But let's look at some positives for the Eagles winning, okay? Let's look at it for positives for the Eagles to win. First of all, it's been a heck of a long time. The Eagles. This is a great group of players. You look at Jalen Hurts, the guy who was replaced. Oh, it hurts my heart to say. I hate to even say it. Cook, it hurts. The guy that we had beat was pulled out of the Alabama Georgia game, and then Tua comes in, anyway, so he was the guy that left Alabama and went and was all world, at the other school, and came in, and he's lit it up as a pro. He's an amazing player. Of course, played at the University of Alabama, and the other school was Oklahoma. God, went blank. But anyway, he's pretty amazing. I love all these Georgia players. That would be a great benefit that they all get a ring, and it would be great. I know that Kelsey's brother, he's rooting for his brother, but come on, he's rooting for the Eagles too. He is. He's the Eagle through and through, and he'd be happy about that. It would be a payoff for not winning. Cook's going KC 3 in a row. Hey, you know what? I'd be happy, Cook. The number one benefit of, I'm gonna swing it around a minute. The number one benefit of the Eagles winning this game is, you know what it is, right? The number one benefit if they win the game, no Taylor Swift in the post game. No. The media sharks will be crying. There's no, they'll hide out quickly. They won't even be able to they may get one camera shot of her getting into a car in a Suburban really, really quickly with her head down as she leaves the game. There's no jumping up and down, no celebration, no on-field kiss. All the Vegas bets are off because they won't be there to do it except for the ones that happen during the game. The post-game kiss, not going to happen. The proposal on the field, if the Eagles win, not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's no way. They can't do it. He's not going to propose. If they lose, not going to happen. So if the Eagles win, there's all that. And they're loyal fans, rough and tumble as they are. Take them as they are. That's the way you got to take them. Is they support their team. They're out there in the cold and the muck, and they support their team, and that would be great for them. If the Kansas City Chiefs win, it is you just go ahead and mark it down in the Hall of Fame for several players. They're already probably there anyway. I'm sure Kelsey will make it, but Mahomes is going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. He probably is on his way to be the most, win more Super Bowls than anybody in NFL history. And if he's going to win 59, he's probably going to win 60, and we're looking at 4-peat. I mean, rarefied air. I mean, he's never been there. There's definitely a possibility. Andy Reid, how do you leave? If he was thinking about retiring, nobody knows that. I have no idea. But if he's thinking about retiring, he doesn't retire because he says, you know what? We got one more in us, boys. Let's go for number 4. So that would be a benefit. Xavier Worthy coming to a team in his rookie season, and he gets a big old fat ring on his finger. That would be a benefit for Xavier Worthy. And Kareem Hunt, the player who did the horrible deed, who was kicked off the team, was one of the top running backs in the league. Went to purgatory, or some would say hell. He went to Cleveland. He was out for a while. He came to Cleveland. He paid his dues. He has came back. He's been brought back home. All is forgiven. They put the robe on him and the crown on his head, and put now they can put the ring on his finger and say, welcome back. What a story that would be. Pacheco going down and Pacheco coming back, and getting that ring would be amazing. And we could probably think of 100 more. These are just the ones that roll off the top of my head. But yeah. So can they do it? Can Kansas City 3-peat? That's the key. And if another benefit if Kansas City wins, all the Mahomes haters are going to have more to scream about and hate about. Yeah. But then if the Eagles lose, the fans will be even madder next year. Can you imagine? They're going to have to go 6 months with that bitter loss. Right there in their pit of their gut. They're going to say, this is not fair. We should have won. And then they'll all be saying that 15 on Mahomes' jersey is, as they've been saying already, it's for the 15 yards that they give the players that even get close to him. When he flops to the ground, he gets 15 yards as he's running out of bounds, and they lay a pinky finger on him. They give him 15. They'll have more reason to be mad next year. And an angry Philly fan is a fun Philly fan to watch because they'll be angry. It'll be a hard game to win for any any team that goes into Philly, because they'll be ready to take it out on everybody. And they literally do take it out on everybody, including themselves sometimes. So enjoy the game. Have fun with it. I will watch when I get home from church. I am looking forward to I love the Super Bowl. And then next week, we have the Daytona 500. And we're going to have our first Southern Fried Racing Hour this coming week. Got to figure out what night. I'm not sure. I got to check the work schedule of my co-host, who will be, and there may be others that come in the studio, but we do have a co-host this year for the Southern Fried Racing Hour. We're going to break down the Daytona 500 and I'll be looking at that. But today is not the Daytona 500. Today is the Super Bowl. Now, the other thing to look forward to is, for some, and some say this is all I look forward to, is the halftime commercials. Yes, those multi-million-dollar commercials. Who will win and who will lose the halftime commercials? We'll have to see. That's as big coming out of the game as sometimes the game itself, because more people talk about the commercials than they do the game. So who will win that? Well, who is the top three commercials, and who are the three that stink it up? Because there's always two or three that people go, that was dumb, that was stupid. Then there's always two or three that are pretty funny. So if anything else, this game is commercialism at its highest level. I mean, you're going to have you have a very long before the game. You have a very long, they have many timeouts. There's more timeouts during this thing. They get any chance to take a timeout, it'll be commercial break, commercial break, commercial break. Then a very long halftime with all getting all those commercials in there. And then the long post game. And if it's KC, and then plenty of Kelsey and Swift. Another added dynamic is the President of the United States. It's supposed to be at the game. So we'll see what happens with that. He deserves a game. He's been out kicking butt and taking names, and he deserves to watch the game and have fun with that. So we're looking forward to the Super Bowl 59, and next year will be 60 years of, I don't remember the first two or three, although they started, a little bit before. Actually, they started. I was already born on the first one. So, hello, Rude. How you doing? Fly, Philly, fly. I think you know what. Are you? And I'm curious, Killer Carl, if you're still there, you may be moved on. Rude. Are y'all Philly fans, or is just root against KC? I think there's a lot of effect of that. Hate Mahomes, hate Kelsey, hate Swift. Hey, you got it, brother. We're praying for your mom. Yes, sir. We're praying for your mom. Sorry that. How are you feeling, man? I know you've been sick too. As she do surgery come up, or is she sick? Or I know. Sorry, there a little bit of a blip there in Wi-Fi. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like KC. I kind of figured. I just had that vibe, and I get it. I can understand it. I respect his talent, but a lot of people, and I'm not trying to be put down anybody. A lot of people don't like his wife more than they hate him on Mahomes. They certainly, a lot of people have been just driven crazy because of the Kelsey Taylor Swift thing, and that's drove people crazy. Truest of the football world hate that they keep covering her, but it's marketing. I get it. The dynamic of the mom and having the two boys, of course, one's retired now. There's that dynamic, and so you get a lot of that. But he can come off as being a little whiny sometimes. But there you go, Cowboy Cook. We have another diehard Cowboy fan. So Cowboy Cook, that's why he's called Cowboy Cook. He is a diehard, and I can attest to it. I've had to listen to him. His Go Cowboys and all that for decades now. Cowboy Cook is a true Cowboys fan. There's no doubt. And so glad you told me, what happens, for the Cowboys too. They got their coach, but some people are questioning the coach. Brian Schottenheimer, famous dad. He's been around for like 14 years, not a head coach before, coach, and a position coach, or a coordinator, rather, I should say. And so where do they go? They're loaded. They got a lot of weapons. Is this a in the right direction, or is this going to, not be good? We'll see. That's the fun part of the new season. Can the Falcons get their defense built back up? I think offensively they're ready to roll. We will see. Can Lamar Jackson rise up and win the game next year? Well, he didn't win it this year, so we'll see. Can the Washington Commanders, get a little bit more on defense and a little more offense just to get this team over the hump? I mean, they surprised a lot of people this year. We will see. Can Buffalo, who I thought had a good chance to go all the way as well, can they end up? And that really shocked me. That's why I really swung to Kansas City on this. You are right. You know your team, and you are right. You need a real running back. I said going into the season, I think we did our preseason predictions on our sports show. We looked at the Falcons. We looked at the Cowboys. I said they needed a running back. I was a little shocked they didn't address that. That was a problem for them. They had some nice pieces, but come on, they just didn't have the punch there that they needed. So the running back lives. Everybody was killing off the running back 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, we don't want to pay them the money. They get hurt. They don't. They don't play for 5 years, and we'll just go this offensive where we throw the ball around and do short passes, and we don't really need a running back. Well, no, it's the revival of the running backs. Kansas City eats up yards on the ground, and Philly certainly does. And look at Derrick Henry was killing it with Baltimore, and James Cook with Buffalo. These teams were winning a lot because of great running games and great running backs. And the Cowboys cannot win with a quarterback carrying the team. That just can't happen. I like that guy. He's a very talented player, and they've scored a lot of points, but you cannot put that in his hands. That just doesn't work. It's got to be a running back. They've got to have the running back, so they're going to have to make a move there and get that fixed. You are absolutely correct on that. Well, and after this game, the offseason will be coming up, and all the trades and all the moves, and we've got the draft in April. We always look forward to that. I mean, this is the saddest. It's the great day. It's the saddest day. No football. And now, come on, spring. It does. It feeds the fix only a little bit. It's not like the NFL. And so you really, after this game, sad. You got to look forward to a couple of months to a little over 2 months to the NFL draft. So there's a build up to that. I always look forward to that. Then after the draft, it's like being in an old West ghost town. It just feels like, you got. I like baseball, I do, and I like racing. We're going to do the racing, but there's that part of you that's not getting that fix, of football, and you're living on every news article that comes out about your NFL team, and you can't wait till July because camps open. As long as the camps are open, it starts your juices flowing. It's football season. Football season's coming on, and preseason football, as bad as it is, you're like, yes, we get preseason football, and then you're back in the mode. But after tonight, it's sad time because football takes a break for the most part. Although there is the spring games, I do watch some of that. Oh man, are you kidding me? That was one of my favorite players growing up. Absolutely, the great Earl Campbell. Can I just say this? I can. It's my show. Nothing against you Titan fans. I don't have a problem with the Titans. I don't root for them. But I never liked that they ripped the Houston Oilers away from us. I love the color scheme. I love that big old Derrick on the side of the helmet. I love big old Earl Campbell, Warren Moon. I liked it. That was really one of my favorite teams growing up was Houston. And I hate that. I hate that they did that. I just hate. I've never really cared for the Titans, and most of it is because they tick me off because, and they wore the uniforms there towards the end of the season, and that just made me. It was great, but it was also sad because it's like, oh, that guy, man, you know what? His career was probably shortened by the hits that he took on those knees and legs and thighs, but people just bounced off of him. I mean, what a great, amazing running back. Wow. He looked like an offensive lineman running down the field with agility and speed and power. good receiver. I mean, he was just a beast. And I thanks for mentioning him. I'm a you get a little age on you, start thinking back to people that you miss, players, and it's always fun for me to do that. We do that in life. We look back at the different things, and I definitely miss the Houston Oilers. I love that. You know what? I hated that. They got him a Cleveland back, and I know that Cleveland became Baltimore, and it's a big. I hated that too. It's stupid. Just start a new team. You know what? Just I know they're allowed to do it, but this whole St. Louis to LA's, I just hate those things. And just stay where you're at, and win. Just work on winning. But some of the teams, I wasn't as connected to it, but that one hurt. The Oilers going to Tennessee. Oh, I hated that. And it's nothing against the Houston Texans. I like that team. I like their color scheme. I like their players, their coach. They are amazing. I like the Houston Texans. I know you hate to hear that, Cook, but he likes them a little bit too. He just won't admit it too much because he's a Cowboy fan. But I loved me some Houston Oilers, man. That was fun times, man. That was great. And right before they went to be Tennessee, they had a running back named Gary Brown. What is it, Gary Brown? My first, and I'm not playing currently, but I've been a fantasy football fan and player for years. And the very first year that I played in a league, he had I'll never forget this. He had 186 yards and 3 touchdowns for me. And I had to have Waters, Ricky Waters, was that his name, on 49ers on Monday night. He scored me a touchdown to win the thing for me. But if Gary Brown doesn't do what he does on Sunday night football, or maybe it's Sunday 4:00 game, whatever it was, I think it was Sunday night though, he absolutely put me in a position to win the game. And then Ricky Waters won the game for me in the first quarter. Oh, it was magic. And that sent me on a 30-year love. And I still love it. I'm just so busy. We just didn't really have time. We're going to try to reintroduce that a little bit more this coming year for our sports. You're trying to build a podcast. You know how it is. Any of it that's done now. You're just really busy. And I was changing positions at work, and there was just a lot going on. So kind of set it to the side a little bit. We did play a little bit within our podcast, but we'll try to bring that back this coming year and have it in a much more pronounced way and have some fun with it. So maybe now that we've got some real followers, nobody knew who we were before. Maybe we'll have a league game each week or something. I'll pick them or something. We'll figure out something for this coming year for our regulars that come in and want to put in a few players, and we'll see where we're at. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, I just wanted to jump on and talk about the game a little bit. I'm going to be going back to church here in a few minutes, and then I will be back on tonight with the news desk at some point. Now there is the game tonight, but I will be on it. Might be late, but I'm going to be in with the news desk. I'm going to watch. We'll see where the game's at, and you'll see it pop up. I expect you to watch the game. Don't blame you, but I still want to talk about the news and what's going on. And this amazing work of this administration is doing and going through and seeing the fraud that has been occurring. And show me the money, as they say, show me the money. Amazing. So we definitely get into that. And don't forget, Monday morning starts our new week of morning shows and evening shows. So Monday morning at 6 a.m., Monday night, Mama Said. I think it's Monday night. Robert Diamond is back with us to talk about his walk up the Appalachian Trail. We had a lot of fun with him the other night. He was only supposed to come in for a few minutes. We didn't think we'd have him long. Ended up staying with us, and we had a lot of fun. So we'll continue the discussion, and we will have special shows this week as well. And looking forward to a fun week of podcasting and I know by the way, Jumping Killer Carl's Rumble channel. I like Killer Carl. I like his stance on what he's doing with his and he's got another program as well. I only got to see about 40 minutes of that one as I was preparing for mine, and then had to jump out. But I love going to his Half Pine Forge, our blacksmith friend on Rumble and X. Go visit them. Half Pine Forge Live is where he does his lives now. I don't know if he's done a second live. I don't think he has. I'll have to check. Our friend Chick Bait is taking a little bit of a break from her shows. She's just posting little things, but the shows she's done are still there. about true crime. And by the way, pray for the trial for the Evelyn Boswell, the little young child that was found, dead and was missing and found in a bucket. I can't even say it. It's just horrible. And I don't know exactly what happened. They're trying to figure that out. The mom's on trial for it. This be 2 more weeks of trial that's going on. So we'll be keeping up with that as well. Been trying to keep up with this first full week of testimony, but that's going on. And confirmation, just trying to see if these appointments will be confirmed, as they should have already been done. It's ridiculous. We'll be looking at that as well as all the international news. Further flights into Gitmo. Yes. little dictator begging for money and complaining, he's trying, he's little guys, his time is coming to a close, I believe. What's going to happen in Gaza? Is there going to be a Trump tower in Gaza someday? I'm only joking a little bit. But yeah, pray for each other, pray for the nation. And we'll see you tonight sometime. Enjoy the game. Have a fun time with that. You know what? Life is hard. Life is busy. We all have stuff going on, but it's fun to sit back and just enjoy a game. And I hope that you're able to do that tonight. And check back in with us on the news desk. We'll talk about those things. We might modify it a little bit and talk about some sports too, although we will come back with another sports show. And who knows, we might move the news desk to Monday night and just do sports tonight. Who knows, because it is Super Bowl. We'll see. Whatever it is, I'm planning on coming back on talking about the game and news as well. So it might be a hybrid. That's fun. We can pivot and transition. Thank you for the like there, Jake, on the show. And your song was amazing, folks. By the way, and I know that he, and we're gonna get you a donation, brother, for that. I promise you, we'll get you something anyway. The song that Jake wrote for this podcast, we haven't got it up yet. We're planning on it. It's truly amazing. We've played it for some people, and I appreciate that. I know you do a lot of work out there and working around and doing those things, and a workman is worthy of his hire, and so I hope that you're able to get a lot of work out there, and you have a true talent, and I appreciate that. And y'all have a great evening, and if you drink, don't drink too much. I don't drink anymore, but if you do that, be responsible. Enjoy the game. Hate on Kansas City. See if your hate vibes can keep them from winning, or will Cook be right and it'll be a three-peat, and Mahomes lifts the trophy once again. We'll see. Time will tell, as they always say. And can Philly finally put an end, at least for one season, to the Kansas City machine? Can Andy Reid, the emperor, the great emperor, can he be stopped? Can they call it? Can their game plan? Is Saquon Barkley the X factor that stops Andy Reid from a three-peat? You know what? If they did that, I'll tell you what, Andy Reid would be the first guy that would walk out and shake that young man's hand. I know that. He's that kind of guy. He's a competitor. He wants to win, but he respects players and he respects those teams, and you wouldn't see him act like that. Neither coach would. These are great coaches. They're fiery, but they stay within themselves, and they got their teams motivated and ready to go. So who's going to be the GOATs, and who's going to be, who's going to mess it up? Who's going to drop the sure touchdown pass? Who's going to bust the long run, or who's going to give up the sack? Is there be a fumble in the game, an interception? Who are the stars of the game tonight? We will find out in just a little bit of time. Not long. We will find the answer to those questions out, and many, many more. We'll see you after a while. Be safe, be sweet, and we will salute you until we see you in a little while. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show.